Well, welcome again. This is panel 2. It's about AI in information systems education. In general, in education, we are all involved in the educational environment, either as students or faculty. So this will be a great discussion about that, how it's changing and what are the things we're doing. For the panel today, we have Carlos Ferran, Carlos Navarrete, Franci, Suni, Lopez, and myself serving as moderator today. I just want to remind everyone to please register your attendance to the conference. I'm sure you all did it, but just in case, sometimes you just join the link, but without registering, and it's very important for our for the entire planning committee to have to be able to track how many people register. Then we have the description of the panel. Again, it's about how artificial intelligence is reshaping information systems education. So we want to discuss a little bit of the experience of our panelists today who have been working with AI for a long time. This is the agenda that we will follow. We will have quick introductions from each of us, examples of changes due to AI implementation, some examples from the students' perspectives as well as faculty perspectives, and then the challenges and opportunities that we're facing, and the conclusions and Q&A. And we, for the panelists, please do let me know when you are ready to change the slides, right? Because I am managing the slides. So why this topic is important now? As you all know, AI is becoming a core infrastructure in education. Many things are changing. The faculty adoption is accelerating and doing creating quizzes, creating lessons. I mean, we really have to change the way we teach, and we have to be creative for that. So I think this kind of panel is important to brainstorm and share ideas, practices. Also, generative AI presents both opportunities and risks for academic integrity. We've heard that at the beginning, many people were worried about academic integrity, but there's you can't deny it, right? The change is coming, so you have to adapt to it. And the curriculum design is being revolutionized. Really, it's a big change that is happening. And the other aspect that we have is that how do we prepare the future workforce? That's the main task of us as faculty in universities. And this is all being shaken up by, okay, do they really get the skills they need, when they graduate? So let's go ahead and start our round. So let me end the poll first and check what responses we obtained. Well, actually, we got English. English one. That's interesting. Okay, let's go ahead, continue with English then. Let me go back to sharing my window. Okay, so let's start with Carlos Navarrete. If you could please introduce yourself and then tell us what courses you teach.
Yes, Carlos Navarrete, thank you and welcome everybody. Thank you for participating and thank you to Indira for the invitation to be in the panel. I teach for a university in California and my courses now are in the undergraduate level, Management Information System. That is a course that is taken by all business majors, and Business Intelligence that is taken only for Computer Information Systems students. Similarly, in the graduate courses, Information System Seminar is for the MBA and is mandatory for all MBA students. And Introduction to Business Analytics is a course in the Business Analytics Master in Science in Business Analytics, and is mandatory too.
Franci?
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. Now I am professor and researcher at the Universidad de Lima in Peru. Basically, I'm professor of the courses of programming, but also I am the coordinator of the artificial intelligence laboratory. Our main purpose is to develop research with the students, develop projects, artificial intelligence projects. But also I usually teach programming courses, but also the research methodology courses that is in the last years of the career. The career here is Ingeniería de Sistemas. I don't think so if the translation in English is correct, but it's like computer science, I think so. But basically, I usually teach programming courses, for example, using languages like C++ or Java, that is the courses of the first years of the career. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Franci. Carlos Ferran.
Hi, welcome to the panel. Thank you, Indira, for inviting me to the panel, and thank you to everybody for being here. My name is Carlos Ferran. I'm a professor at Governor State University, which is a state university in Illinois. I'm a professor mainly of MIS. I got my degree with a dissertation on video conferencing in the field, a heuristic processing model. So I started looking into mediated communications. And I just finished a second doctoral degree in education. And there my dissertation was University Presidents' Perspectives on the Effect of Generative AI on Higher Education. So I interview university presidents to see what their perspectives were, and I'll be sharing a little bit of that later on. I started developing information systems when I was 15 years old, and well, that picture that you see there is not that recent. So when I was 15 years old, it was a long time ago. I teach MIS, accounting strategy and leadership. I'm passionate about generative AI, e-learning, and technology-mediated communications. And I've taught around the world. Can put the next slide, Indira. Thank you. My position about teaching in the age of AI. After 4 years and many thousands of dollars, depending on which country the students are in, AI is taking my student jobs even before they graduate. That's a big concern that I have. And we must teach what matters in the short term, midterm, and long term. But what is it that we should be teaching? Assessment that is not proctored, I do not trust it. I do not believe in anything that the students submit me that they did at home or somewhere else. AI is my assistant for building courses. That means the syllabus, topics, slides, assessments, and materials. However, in the classroom, AI stays out. And I am not teaching AI. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. So let's go with the second round and see the different examples of changes due to AI implementation that you have done. And Carlos, Navarrete?
Yes. In all my courses, I introduce a module of 2 weeks of artificial intelligence. Also, I ask my students for each module in the class to develop quizzes to prep for the midterm. And for doing that, they use ChatGPT, the learning goals of the course, the learning goals of the of the module, and the learning goals of the textbook. With that combination, they generate the questions and interchange questions in teams of 3 students. Okay, that worked very well. I also ask students to use AI as a coach, as a writing coach. I have an assignment that is a persuasive essay where I teach the students how to use business writing strategies. That is very different to what they learn here in the States in high school or in their English courses in the university. So that the experience in that case is mixed. I cannot manage my students to write the essay and then use AI to edit for grammar and mechanics. All of them jump immediately and ask the tool to write the essay for them. So I'm now asking, instead of only submitting the essay, I'm asking them to submit the skeleton, like the outline of the paper, and then write around that outline and then edit for grammar and mechanics with AI. So that is been really challenging. I don't think that I'm going to succeed. I have been using the persuasive essay assignment for more than 20 years. And since 2 years ago, I'm struggling with the use of AI because I easily noticed that all the students use AI to generate the essays. Another symptom is that I ask for 700 words, and when they submit, it's exactly 700 words. If you write it by yourself, you are going to be around 700. But it's very difficult for a human to decide to write exactly with 700 words. So that is very powerful, but I think that the students abuse it. Another, in the case of introduction to business analytics and business intelligence, I also ask the students to generate code and make it work. This has been working nicely, and every semester is better and better. What I do is that we do training on how to use Python for visualization, Python for cleaning data. And once that they have the code that we review in the class and the data where they test the code, I ask them to generate the code with AI and make it work replicating the project that we already did. 2 years ago, 30% of the students managed to replicate the code and make the code succeed. Nowadays, I think that 70% are succeeding in generating the code and making it work. I think that a strong finding is that the students that are better coders are the ones that have better results even with AI. Next slide, Indira, por favor, please. This is following, I put several slides explaining the module that I have in all my courses. First, I start with the emphasis of the ethical use of AI and the challenges of AI adoption, bias, lack of transparency, concept anonymity, and the job displacement. For example, in the States, it's expected that by 2030, 30 million jobs are going to be lost to AI. AI in every day, the idea is to get what generative AI can do and what it cannot do. Should we trust it? Should we use it? Or how we should use it for teaching, etc. Those are the takeaways for that part of the module. By the way, this presentation I generated with AI. The students' takeaway is a suggestion of ChatGPT, but match my experience. The next topic in the module is key concepts, machine learning, neural networks, and deep learning. And the emphasis is that it's not magic, use data, and the best approach to use the tool for supporting your activities. Next, please, Indira. Hands-on, in this we see intelligent agents, chatbots, large language models, and prompt tuning and prompt engineering. Here we go start working already with the tools. And I concur with ChatGPT suggestion. This is very common with the students. They are amazingly happy when they harness the power of the tool. Next, please, Indira. Then I review the best strategies to write prompts and how make ChatGPT to remember you, to write like you, to make a self-critique your of your prompt, and once that you have your edition, how to make your writing concise and clear. And the idea is the students get familiar to use the tool in a collaboration mode instead of making the tool do the work for them. Next, please, Indira. So here are the results that I was mentioning. In the case of multiple choice question generation, the results are excellent. Writing as a coach, the persuasive basic experience in part is good, but I'm discouraged. I'm not happy, and I don't know how to help them to make the work and let the tool to review for them. Python code generation is getting better and better. I think that the students are more familiar with the tool, and I think that the tools are more efficient generating the code. In the case of the coach for preparing a test, the students are very happy with the results, and the test show an improvement, maybe 10-12% on average, better grades. And students that are familiar with coding get really passionate about generating the code and using the code to speed up the work. Next, Indira, please. This is Jose.
Franci.
Francis.
Yeah, well, in our case, as we know, ChatGPT came out in November 2022, and also it was really a turning point for AI because ChatGPT made artificial intelligence accessible for everyone with an internet connection, but also it brought a new challenge for the university. For example, we have to think how to evaluate, how to teach effectively, because these tools make easier some tasks for the students. In this context, in my university, we have 14 careers, but the original idea was to create one course, one artificial intelligence course for the all careers. It was the original idea. However, as this is a disruption idea, this year we planned to run a pilot to create this course for the first years of this career, but also only for the engineering careers. And this year, we developed the course for the 5 engineering, for the 5 careers of the engineering. And the question is for us was how to teach artificial intelligence for all the students with different backgrounds, because we have students from civil engineer, but it's different from the, for example, industrial or computer science students. In that case, our syllabus of our course was divided in 6 parts. The first part of our course is computational thinking. The second part is to teach coding, but using Snap, that is programming with blocks, yeah, like Scratch. The third part is teaching how to use the AI technologies for design. Another important topic in this all knowledge that in artificial intelligence is the data mining. Also the generative. We have a unit we teach generative AI, not just to ChatGPT. We have generative images, videos, audios, yeah. And one important part of this course for the student is the 6th part, the ethics society and environmental impact of the artificial intelligence. Well, we developed this course. We have the first semester that we did talk this course, and the feedback that we received of the students and the professors was amazing. We had 35 sections, each one of 40 students, with around, I don't know, 800 students. We had around 30 professors, and the feedback of the student and the professor was amazing. That they need or they want more hours to explain each topic. They want more hours of practice. Especially the students of the computer science, they said that for them it's important to know this concept, this topic, because it is important because they can learn more tools to study, for the studies, for develop tasks in the university, and also for the job. And well, this is our first semester. This semester this is our the first years. We made little changes because we want to teach a lot of things, but we don't have more time. We have to cut many topics. But yeah, our first semester was successful, and I suppose that in this last year we had another conclusion, maybe another changes in the course. But yeah, this is our position of how artificial intelligence could help to different background students.
Very interesting. Thank you, Franci.
So I don't teach programming, I don't teach AI, but I do comment about Gen I in all my classes. And I also have another group of students, which are basically professors. I've been giving talks about generative AI. And I found that just like my students, most of those professors know very little about it. So some key realities about creating with AI is one prompt will never get you there. I mean, people say, oh, you're cheating because you got AI to do that. Well, it's not that you tell AI, write me an essay for this. Even if you write a whole paragraph in there in your request, you're not going to get immediately the output that you need. And that's something that a lot of people don't get it. They think that it's going to be magic, that you just kind of tell it what you want, and the tool will not just do what you wrote, but what you were thinking. And it's not like that. So it's only after many iterations that you reach something that's worth keeping. So this is a tool. It's something that you're working with, just like with SPSS and the calculator and a spreadsheet. You have to interact with it a lot to get some results. So at the end, whose product is that? Is it yours or is it the AI's? If I worked for an hour to write a paragraph interacting with AI, can somebody tell me that's not my product? And I can't, challenge a student or challenge anybody who tells me, yeah, I did use AI, but it shows me all of those interactions in there. Now, what's important here is to decide which parts of that creation belong to the generative AI and which ones demand human AI. Because still, there are things that require that human intelligence, not just that computer. It is a process, and that needs to be understood by everybody. Could you put the next slide, Indira, please? So in education, I can use AI to plan my curriculum and structure syllabi for impact. What tools do I use for something like this? I basically use large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, LM Notebook, I don't use Grok. Why? It's a long story, but basically, any of these do a great job. And yes, there are some tools that are specialized on doing this, but I have not found one that really does a better job than the main LLMs that we have. Course content. Yes, I use them to develop my lectures, readings, examples. I create cases. I no longer need to go to Harvard Business cases. I can generate a case using an LLMS and questions. For every slide, I can say, hey, generate a question for this. Questions that I can use in class or questions that I can use in an exam. So again, what tools do I use in here? The LLMS that I mentioned before, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, LM Notebook. And I do use another tool, which is not so much AI, but it does have some AI in it, which is iSpring, which helps me once I have all my PowerPoint, I can do additional things with it to do e-learning. Create visuals, slides, and media that engage students. This is the one that the LLM don't do it well. They say they do it, but what they give me, I've never liked it. Right now, I'm using Gamma, which is another AI tool, but it makes my slides a little bit nicer than the ones that I do myself. Prezi and Beautiful AI are other two tools that do that. So basically, for the graphical part, the large language models are not doing that well, and we do need something else. I can build simulations, I can build interactive lessons, I can build virtual labs, and there, as long as I'm not going into the visual part, the LLMs are great. And finally, designing the assessments, let them be quizzes or exams, and the rubrics that I can use for that. Again, I go back to the large language models. There are a lot of tools out there that help me do this, but I have gone into the pro versions. I paid for them. I looked at the results that I get, and they're not better than the ones that I get from ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. So I would say that these are the tools that right now, if we understand how to use them, if we accept what they are, we can leverage for our teaching. But we have to remember that they are basically it's a statistical tool. Remember that an LLM, it's trying to figure out what is the most probable next word. So if the data was biased, the output is going to be biased. It's what was in the past that we're projecting into the future. So we cannot expect this tool to come up with something completely new or something that we would call fair, because the past was not fair. This is just like using SPSS. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. So different types of applications of AI in your teaching. Thanks for sharing that. So let's talk about the challenges and opportunities, again, from student and faculty perspectives. Carlos.
Thank you, Indira. Yes, I prepare first from the faculty perspective. I strongly recommend you to write your own AI policy for the students. State clearly what they can do with AI and what they cannot. Then, if your university has a AI policy, align your policy to the one of the university, so you don't have conflicts there. Talk openly with your students on the challenge of using the tool and the opportunities to become a better student versus the risk or losing your students your skills. Over here, there is already a name for the overuse of AI in school settings. They call it the cognitive debt. What is the finding is that the students are fulfilling all the assignments that they have traditionally they have in college without the effort of previous generations. And the finding is that they miss the opportunity to learn how to think. They don't think, they don't even less use critical thinking. And the only thing that they do is feed the tool, copy and paste without any analysis. So we have to avoid that as a professors. Let's promote the thinking, and let's avoid students misusing the tool. Next, Indira, please. Can you change it, Indira, to the next slide?
I did change it, so you don't want this one, the next one.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at mine here. Yes, thank you. A fact, our students are not getting jobs right now. We have a case of a student that tracked the number of applications that he did in the last 6 months. 500 applications is a record. When the market is very tight, students may apply 60, 40 or 60 times before getting a good job. Now with 500, they are not getting it. Computer science is in trouble. Usually in my university, the computer science program has more than 1,000 students, and they are down to 500. With the news that the AI tools are reaching the level of expert coding, most of the tools now, they get similar performance to a senior programmer, a programmer with, let's say, 15 years of experience. And it's expected by the end of this year, they will match the most expert programmers in the world. So coding for the sake of coding is going to be replaced completely by AI tools. On the other hand, I think that information system or computer information systems programs, we have a tremendous opportunity to flourish in this environment. Traditionally, we have been using information technology to solve business problems. Now, we have a tremendous tool that helps us to do that solving of business problems in a more efficient way and with another setting for teams. Think about this as a Scrum team. Now the Scrum team can have 2 or 3 coders at a very outstanding performance. So the team can go from identifying the problem to building and implementing the solution, even if the coding is challenging. I think that we have a tremendous opportunity because of AI. Next, Indira. I think that in our courses, we need to focus on critical thinking, communication, teamwork, and how to do judgment in ambiguous context, how to find the real truth in complex settings. So we have, let's say, 20% of design work, then we left the AI tool to do the 60% of the work, and then we check or validate or verify that the results are pertinent and usable, and bingo, we finish with the process. We have to teach less and guide more. And in this, the tenet for excellent teaching. If you want to be an excellent teacher, you have to stop teaching and let your students start learning. Okay? Next, Indira. Francis.
Yeah, Carlos, thank you. Well, when we talk about the challenge of integrating AI into education, when one of the main issues is to find the right balance between adopting new AI tools quickly and ensuring that we maintain rigorous technical documentation. It- For us, was very difficult to find a balance. So what is the topic that we teach for a student of civil engineer that is important for them, but also for a computer science student? Another challenge is addressing the wide range of skill levels of our students have in the programming and computational thinking, especially for us in the engineering programs that we have. And of course, AI technologies are involving such a rapid pace that our course content can become well, is the content of the information change rapidly month by month. For that, it's very difficult to keep the course, the content of the course updated. Finally, as Carlos says, the major challenge for all us is rethinking how we evaluate a student's work, because many of the assignments we use to give we can be subject directly with ChatGPT, for example. In my case, for example, in the programming courses, I often use practical cases from Peru or Lima because the computer science algorithm works very fast. And in this case, the student's task then is to figure out how to make the work in those specific contexts that the make that this algorithm work for this challenge. In the case of the opportunities, of course, in the other hand, there are great opportunities because artificial intelligence tools, technologies into education can be many advantages. First of the opportunities that I can give you is that AI can enhance the interdisciplinary collaboration between different engineering students fields. And for example, in one of the projects that I lead in my students, we have a project of programming, and the group was for one of the computer science, one of the civil engineer, one for industrial, and the work was very interesting because the view of each student is different, and also the background is different, the ideas is different, and the project was amazing. The game that they played was, for example, using visiting to Machu Picchu to recollect many things. Well, they bring a lot of things. I think that the artificial intelligence can enhance this interdisciplinary collaboration. And second, the artificial intelligence opened the door for to correcting critical thinking and ethical awareness alongside technical skills. I think that it's not just about thinking or about how to use the tools. I think that the most important is how these tools can be developed, or how is developed this tool to do a specific task. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Franci. Ferran?
Okay. I'll start with the challenges so that I can finish in an optimistic way. My first question is, which programs should be eliminated? Because make no mistake, many programs need to be eliminated. Students don't need to be studying those programs for 4 years and paying all of that money to not find a job later. Now, who and how do we determine which programs should be eliminated? That was one of the things that I asked the university presidents, and they are basically using the market. You know, if somebody wants to pay and come to study this program, we keep it. If people are not coming, then we eliminate it. I don't think that that's the way that we should be going about. I mean, we as academics need to start figuring out how AI is changing work and decide in advance what should we be teaching. Now, I'll go into that more. What should we really be teaching our students? Is it knowledge? Is it skills? I mean, a lot of that knowledge that we teach them, they can easily get very quickly through one of the Gen AIs. So is it really useful to memorize all of those formulas, all of those statements? Personally, I agree with what Carlos said before, and Francis, critical thinking. That's what we need to teach, critical thinking and problem solving. Now, what is critical thinking? How do I teach critical thinking? I truly believe that if I'm able to get my students to think critical and to understand that what they have to do is solve problems, I did my job. And no matter what I was teaching, that will be useful for them. I could be teaching accounting strategy, MIS, whatever. If they understand that, I think I gave them something of a lot of value. But I'm not so sure. I don't really know how to teach critical thinking or the fact that they need to solve problems. But if I'm doing that, how is that different vocational or trade school? I mean, is it a university? We're saying that we're not just teaching something so that the student gets a job and knows what to do in the next 2-3 years, but something that will last their entire life. I really don't know what we should be teaching, what I should be teaching. And then how do we assess our students so that the paper that is conferred, that diploma has some value? Because if they use AI in all of that and they didn't learn much, employers will learn that later down the road, and that paper is not going to be valuable. Now, let's go into the good side, opportunities. There are new fields that need to be taught. So the same way that we are, or we should be eliminating programs, we should be creating new programs. Now, which ones? Again, that's not that easy. It's now easier, and we have better ways to generate much better courses than we had before. We can have intelligent tutoring and support systems. We can do personalized learning, look into each student and try to help them exactly in what they need, and use that adaptive instruction that these tools allow me to have. It's also enhanced accessibility and inclusion, because they're not free, really. The good, if you want to get good use of ChatGPT, you need to have the pro version. But the cost is much lower than the cost of many other things that we had in the past. And there is global educational access, democratization. So now all students from everywhere, well, not everywhere, because many of these tools are not allowed in some countries, but in most countries they have access to this. We've democratized education, but we also have democratized cheating. It's no longer fair, because now everybody can cheat, not just the rich people who were able to pay somebody to write their papers, to answer their exam, or even to attend 4 years of university on their name. Now everybody can cheat. That's not fair. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And it's very, very interesting, all the things that we need to do. I tell students, it's just like watching somebody do the exercises instead of actually going to the gym. You're not going to get, fit if you don't do the exercises yourself. And that's how you need to, practice and exercise your brain, using your brain and just letting the tools help you. So, these are our conclusions. We're ending the panel, and please, I would like to call the audience to type your questions and comments, and let's go with the final thoughts. Carlos, do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I mentioned at my previous intervention this tenet for teaching excellence, that they state that if you want to be an excellent teacher, the best way to do it is to stop teaching. With AI, is let AI do the heavy work, and let us plan for and design the solutions and test the solution once that we have them from the field.
Thank you. Franci, your final.
Yeah, to wrap up, I think applied AI education works best when we combine three things: solid theory, hands-on practice, and a strong sense of ethics. Generative AI tools can speed up prototyping and spark creativity, but we have to teach students to use them with critical mindset, as both Carlos says. Not just to accept whatever result they get. And finally, when we designed interdisciplinary AI courses, we give engineering students the skill to bring AI into their own fields in ways that are practical, ethical, and effective. Thank you.
Very good. And I don't know if Carlos.
I don't have a slide because the conclusions that I wrote yesterday, they've been altered because a new AI just came this morning and something changed. AI is changing so much that I cannot do any conclusion on this. In the past, we had the AI winters, meaning we advanced, and then for 10 years we did nothing or we didn't use nothing, and then something else came up. I'm afraid that the global climate change is also going to affect the AI winters. I doubt there will be any more winters. We'll be in forever spring, which is great, maybe. But there's too much changing, and we need to understand these changes, and we need to try to at least be ahead of them by a couple of days. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. Thank you so much, our panelists. Let's go ahead and see if we have questions from the audience, please. I think we are right on time at 12:50, and we can use the rest of the time for comments from the audience. Okay. Comments or questions? Let's see if we have something.
No, everybody just put their avatar in there, and later they'll get a summary of what the panel was.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions or comments? Anybody would like to share maybe what you are doing? Well, something I heard, of course, is also the emphasis on storytelling. You know, like students need to tell stories of the things they do, and changing the assignments to make assignments that are more complex, but then tell the story, because that's something that students are missing sometimes in ways they communicate. And storytelling to give the whole picture. So, and I like that approach as well.
Indira, I have a suggestion for Franci.
Yes.
Franci, in the structure of your AI course, the topic of AI and ethics is the last one. I suggest your university to move it to the first one.
Yeah,
Carlos, traditional in my course, I always have it at the end. And then after many years, one of my students said, "Oh, yeah, we finished." Why we finished? This is very important. No, when we reach the ethical impact of IT, the course is over. We just don't care anymore. So let's move it to the top. My suggestion is a suggestion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. We have that problem. When we was planning the course, it was an 1 week discussion. If the topic was at the beginning or at the end. The final was to put at the end, because after to view many tools of artificial intelligence, after to understand how to program, how to use the computational thinking, Okay, one is to the student understand the different background, the principle of the artificial intelligence. Well, this moment to teach the ethics. But yeah, it was very difficult because there is many pros and
Yeah,
to
I can see that.
yeah.
But let me ask you, when you say ethics, are you talking about utilitarianism or are you talking about virtue ethics? And that's the problem I find every time that somebody tells me, oh, that's not ethical or that's ethical. Because if you use one framework, it is ethical. If you use the other framework, it's unethical. And that's something that students have to understand. Are we really talking about ethics or are we talking about morals? You know, before going into the ethics of AI, we have to have an understanding of what we mean by that and what we value. What are our values? Because all of that will affect that final answer of is what I'm doing with AI ethical or not.
You are supporting the fact to put it at the end because it's so complex that we close it and then we just say goodbye.
Okay, I think we have a question in the chat. But do you see it? Because I don't know why it doesn't allow me. The same with explainability, just having it at the end, they may not see the importance of it once
Indira, while you look for, oh, sorry.
There's a question.
It's asking how to make a prompt for image, how to generate an image.
And it's exactly what I want in generating image.
That's something that I really have worked hard, and that's why I said that the LLM, if you try to ask Chat or ChatGPT or Gemini to generate an image, they are not that good. They will always have mistakes on them, at least until now. I would say you have to use a different tool, a different program. There are some programs out there that will generate images for you. So it's not so much the quality of the prompt right now. There, it's the quality of the tool, their ability to do it.
Well, it's not my forte because I never generate images. But I think that there are two paths. One is you take a picture or an image and you ask the application to generate the new image based on that. Very common is that you give your picture and you generate your avatar. That is straightforward. It takes some time, but there is a lot of tools that help you with that. And I think that depending on the kind of image and the settings is the tool that you should use. Can I have the screen, Indira?
Yeah, you can just go ahead.
Yeah, you're a co-host.
Alexander, maybe you can go ahead and ask your question while Carlos set that up.
So
okay, well, he does that. May I ask you a question, both
Yes.
Carlos and no, my concern is really I have the feeling that AI has really made us more productive in many ways. On the other hand, it makes us more productive based on the knowledge that we already had. If I started asking the same questions as I ask and writing the same prompts as I do without the knowledge that it took me 30 years to develop, I think I wouldn't probably be getting very far. And my concern is there's a generation that we're starting to form now that is exactly in that situation. They still do not have the log on which to base the use of AI. And I just wanted your comments or your reflections on that, if possible.
Those are my findings exactly. If a student or a professor knows what he or she is doing, is going to evaluate the feedback of the tool and keep the conversation to get what you are really looking for. For example, I used ChatGPT to summarize and to resume 10 interviews that I did for my project. and I ask it to build a table. And in the table, the tool add up wrongly the numbers. I find it and I say, hey, this is not correct. And the tool reply, yes, you are right. Let me do it correctly. So, and the result. So you have to, and that is very critical with coding generation. The students that are more effective are the most advanced students as programmers. So there is a component so far that if you really know what you are looking for, you become very productive. For example, when I have to write a recommendation letter for my students, that is very common in an American university, to write a letter takes me between 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes without AI tool. With the tool, it takes me 1 hour and 1 hour 15 minutes, exactly the same. There is no productivity gain for me, but the quality of the letter with the AI tool is impressive. It's a quality that I can never get in an English document, but I managed to get it with ChatGPT. Okay. Did I answer, Alexander?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Right now, I consider AI, and this may change in the future, but I consider AI a first-year doctoral student that I can send to do some research for me, and it will come back with that research. The difference is that the tool does it in a couple of seconds, while the doctoral student takes a week to do that same research. Now, I trust what I got from the tool as much as I trust the first-year doctoral student. And I have to check everything that's in there to really believe that it is like that, because that tool is going to give me an answer in a couple of seconds, no matter if they find it or not. They will generate something that will answer that question or look like an answer to that question. And I need to know the topic. I need to go into the sources and all of that to really trust it. But that doctoral student, which would have taken 1 week, only takes a second if it's this tool. I can ask for another research, and we can do that paper that would have normally taken 6 months, do it in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Carlos, I think that I sabotage your intervention because I share my screen because of the previous questions about generating image. Here we have ChatGPT, and I went to GPTs within ChatGPT, and I want to show you where to find out the application for generating images. This is the one that is very common, DALL-E. You go in ChatGPT to GPTs, and here is top picks. You will find out this one, and this one will give you decent images. You can, in the settings in your ChatGPT, you can set if you want it very artistic or very modern or very accurate to the source, different settings. I don't have more experience with that because the only thing that I have used is to generate my avatar. I did it 2 years ago, and I have no experience. But this is a good point to start practicing generating image. Okay? I'm sorry for not answering with more detail.
That's good. Thank you so much, everyone. It's time. It's 2 already. So thank you again to the panelists. I appreciate your participation, and to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. See you next time around.
All I want to say to Carlos that all of us are not only avatars. We are here.
Are we taking a picture?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Donna. Thank you. Thank you for the comment. Bye, guys. A pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, we're taking a picture.
Oh,
Talking to Jose, nice picture.